Welcome to my channel. I'm Barbara Wilson Arboleta, and it's time to get voice wise. Today, let's talk about diaphragmatic breathing. Good news, you already know how to breathe from the diaphragm. You just don't know you know because you've had so many people shake their fingers at you and tell you you're breathing wrong. I would like to give you some assurances and also give you some ammunition to lob at your breathing haters. Breathing fact number 1, if you're alive and you're not blue, you're breathing right. The diaphragm is the main muscle of breathing. You have to breathe from the diaphragm. No choice, guys. You breathe from the diaphragm or you die. Now, the diaphragm is a muscle, and it is tucked up inside the bottom part of your rib cage with the lungs and your heart on top, and it cuts you in half. It's pretty high up in your body, and it's in the shape of an upside down bowl. And we have to remember that the diaphragm is a muscle of breathing in, which means it's active when you're inhaling. So when it's time to breathe in, the bowl shape kind of flattens out, so that the lungs can get a little bigger in the up and down direction. Now, in terms of the function of the diaphragm, it's important to know that the diaphragm is tied into the brain stem. Now, the brain stem is responsible for all of the body's automatic functions, such as digestion and heart rate and breathing. Fun fact. Since the diaphragm is connected into the brainstem, we don't have complete control over how our diaphragm functions. Yes, we do have the opportunity to decide when we're going to take a breath in to speak, and we can have our intention set for what we're going to do with our breath. But beyond that, we actually don't have a lot of fine control over what the diaphragm is going to do next. Breathing fact number 2, there is no best way to breathe for all situations. The different things that we do have different requirements on our breathing system. So let's take the example of a ballet dancer. The ballet dancer needs to have a lot of core contraction in the lower torso. And what that does is it allows them to have the leverage power that they need to do all of the things with the legs that they're going to need to do. So when they're breathing for ballet, they need to breathe a little bit higher up in the torso because they're going to be sort of holding their abs in a little bit more of a firm position. Now, if that same dancer wants to learn how to sing, they're going to have to learn a slightly different way of breathing in order to have their breath work best for the voice. Now, that singer-dancer goes off to take a yoga class, and you guessed it, they're going to learn a whole different way to breathe again, one that's appropriate for yoga. None of these breathing patterns are wrong. They are just the most efficient breathing patterns for the activities that people are engaging in. And what I see as a big mistake for a lot of people is that they're trying to find that one right breathing pattern for every situation. And that's just not how the body works. More good news though, our body is actually designed to have a lot of different breathing patterns that it uses in different situations. We just have to get out of the way of that process. Breathing fact number 3, the only part of your body that fills with air is your lungs. Your abdomen, your pelvis, your knees, your feet are all air-free zones. We do not breathe into them, though we may feel other sensations associated with breathing and singing. We don't breathe into them. And please, the diaphragm does not fill with air either. Remember, it's a muscle. I get it. You're wondering, then why does the abdomen move when we're breathing freely? Especially when we're breathing in, the abdomen goes out, and as we exhale, the abdomen sort of springs back in. Remember I told you where the diaphragm was in the body. It's right on the underside of the rib cage, cutting us in half with the lungs and the heart on top. Well, think about what's on the other side. What's under the diaphragm is the stomach and the liver and the pancreas and the intestines, all of these guts. And when it's time to breathe in and that bowl shape flattens as the diaphragm contracts, it pushes into the guts, and the guts just need some place to go. And the only place to go is blah. So out they come. And then as you release the diaphragm, they sort of spring back into shape. Last breathing fact of the day. Breathing fact number 4. Raising and lowering your shoulders or getting taller and shorter with your posture when you breathe does not help you get more air into your lungs. More air is not always better anyway, but that's a topic for another time. Your lungs end about here in the body, right around that first or second rib. So you can see that nothing I can do with my shoulders or the top of my neck is going to do anything to create more lung space and cause air to flow into my lungs. And straightening and lowering your posture is pretty inefficient as well. Now you might say technically sort of going up and down is going to create some extra space in the vertical direction in your lungs, but it's really uncontrolled and it works against you in terms of creating that steady airstream that you need for speaking or singing. Let's put it all together. What's the bottom line here? Breathing for speaking or singing isn't about making yourself breathe. It's more about letting yourself breathe. Just kind of getting out of the way with extra muscle work and allowing this whole large section of your torso, everything I say sort of from the armpits to the hip bones, front, back, and side, to just expand a little bit as you breathe in and then slowly deflate again. Then, once you're out of the way, let your intention for what you're going to be doing while you're breathing drive how your body breathes. It may be hard to believe now, but your body is actually pretty good at figuring out how much air it needs for any given time and how long it needs to last. As long as we don't keep layering all of these musts and shoulds and other sort of cognitive forms of effort into our breathing, we're actually going to end up pretty okay. Thanks for watching. Before you go, subscribe to get Voice Wise and click that little bell icon so that you don't miss any new information. I'll see you soon.